In the previous video, we talked about implementing queue using stacks, okay? And the implementation that we had could do create new queue, is empty, is full, and add operations in constant time. However, the delete operation that we implemented, it required of the order of n effort, linear effort. If there are n elements in the queue, it required of the order of n effort to delete. Now let's see if we can somehow optimize this particular implementation. So let's still try to implement queue using the stacks. So now the difference is that we will try to use both the stacks S1 and S2. So now we still have our queue with two stacks, S1 and S2. Okay, so here is my S1 and here is my S2. Okay. And now we'll try to optimize our operations. Remember, we already had all other operations in constant time, so they cannot be improved significantly. The only operation that we want to improve is the delete operation. Okay, so we'll keep our create new operation as it is the previous operation, so I won't write it. Okay, so it will be still like that, and then let's try to see what we will do. Okay, so now what we are going to do is, whenever I want to add a new element, I will add it onto stack S1. Okay, so this will store the elements in LIFO order because this is a stack. But then at some point of time, I am going to take all the elements from S1 and pop them to S2, and then push them onto S2. And then what is going to happen is, this S2 is going to contain the elements, or it will return the elements in the FIFO order original, right? So whenever I want to do the add operation on this particular queue, it will be S1.push, and whenever I want to do delete operation on this queue, it will be S2.pop. Okay? That's the way I will implement. Okay, and then there will be some boundary cases that we have to take care of. Okay, so let's first write our add operation. It sends us value v, and then what I'm going to do is, I am going to simply write it as S1 dot push v. Okay, and before that, of course, I need to check if the queue is full. Okay, so I have to ensure that if my queue not full, in only that case I can do this. Okay, and we will also describe this full condition. Okay, but once you check that, it is going to be simply S1 dot push. And similarly, what I'm going to do is, whenever I encounter a delete operation from my queue, in the simplest case, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say that S2 dot pop. Okay, and before that, I'll of course check if my queue is not empty. Okay. So if queue is empty, of course you have to give back the error. If queue is not empty, you will do S2.pop. So now there are going to be some corner cases that we have to think about. First thing that is going to happen is, sometimes what can happen is, you have done a set of add and delete operations. So let's go on doing them. Okay, so let's say I create new queue of size 5, and then I'm going to add values. Say I add 10, 20, 30. Okay, I added 3 values. Then my queue will look something like this. I have pushed 10 onto the stack, then 20, and then 30, and then I do a delete operation on my queue. Okay, so in that case, I'm going to come to my delete function, and we haven't yet talked about how to check if queue is empty. but let's assume that the result is currently queue is not empty because we have 3 elements in our queue. And then I try to do s2.pop, and this will give me error because my s2 is empty. Okay. So what we should do in the delete operation is that if queue is not empty, first we should check if s2 is empty. Okay. So what I should do is I should ask question if s2 is not empty, then I will simply do the s2.pop operation. But otherwise what I should do is I should take all the elements from S1 and transfer them all to S2, and then I should do s2.pop. So in this case what will happen is I ask my queue, is my queue empty? The answer is no. Then I go and ask question, is my S2 empty? The answer is yes. So I will take all the elements of S1 and transfer them all to S2. So now my S2 stack will look like 30, 20 and 10. All these elements are gone with transfer all operation, and then I do s2.pop and my result will be 10. Okay. And that's how the result of delete operation is going to be 10. Okay. And that's the logic for our delete operation now. Okay. And our add operation will be same that we have written. The only thing that we have to write now is full and is empty. Okay. So let's write our is full operation. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to limit the number of elements in our queue to the capacity of this stack. So we have to count the number of elements in our queue, which will be equal to so if I do the count, it will be s1 dot so let's say our stack has operation that can tell us how many elements are there in the stack. Okay. So count is equal to s1 dot count plus s2 dot count, and if this count is less than the capacity of our queue, in that case, well, it is not full, then we'll return false. Otherwise we have to return true. So that's how my full operation will work. And think about it, how my is empty operation should work. I should check if both my stacks are empty. Okay. Or I can just do again the sum of the counts. Okay. So is empty operation will look something like is full operation. All I will be doing is doing the sum of the counts, and if this count comes out to be 0, then my queue is empty. Okay. So that's the way now we have a more optimized implementation of queue using 2 stacks. But remember, in the worst case scenario, our delete operation will still require linear effort. Okay, and what will be that scenario? Just think about it. Pause the video, think about it, and then unpause the video. So we will have the worst case for delete operation when stack S2 is empty, but stack S1 is not empty. So what will happen is we will have to shift all the elements to S2, and then only we can delete, which happened for this delete 10. So that's the kind of worst case that can happen for delete. But apart from that worst case, anytime if there is at least one element in S2, your delete operation will work in constant time. Okay, but worst case scenario, it's still there. Okay, so that's about implementing queue using 2 stacks. We can implement queue using a single stack as well. That requires a bit of thinking and adjustments, but we will come back to that again at the end of the course if we have time. First, let's try to cover as many data structures as possible, and then we will cover more problems if we have time.